What is going on, everybody? It is episode 679 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I'm here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, crisis actors. It's Mary. Happy Monday to those who celebrate. Brett is over there panicking about our lighting once again.
I take offense to that.
How was your weekend,
I
Brett?
am not panicking. That was a pretty...
I'm just kidding.
That was a pretty chill walk to the back of the studio. My weekend was fine. So last week we had like 70s all week. It was great. It was fantastic weather last week. And then it went, of course, the temperature went back up over the weekend, and then it was blah. And I hate that.
Yeah, and then it rains.
Yeah.
Weather.
Weather, right? Yeah.
We're at its mercy.
And then it did today, too, because it was you getting in like a little bit after me, right? And I got in, and it was bright sunshine the whole time. And then like...
I had to wait in my car.
because the rain picked up. And because if you don't know like where we are, guys, we're at like the top level of this location.
Yes.
And the rain is loud up here when it's going on.
Like bullets.
Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of cool, though.
Yep.
It adds to the ambiance.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Now that I'm 24, my bones have started to hurt from the weather, the rain.
I told her, I said, that's actually the wrong.
I get an official excuse.
Like, that's not supposed to happen at 24.
I'm kidding. I'm fine. I'm not in pain. Everything's fine.
Well, guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Please and thank you. And remember to share this live stream and these segments that we put out every day with your friends, your family, loved ones, people you'll kind of like, people you really like, people you don't like at all, people you have mild grudges against, everyone in between. The more people you share these videos and live streams with, the faster these shows grow. So really, it is the best way to help us. So thank you for that. And remember that all Super Chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion and we will read those Super Chats right in there. Perhaps they have a problem with the unbelievable amount of clickbait we put in the headline today.
Look, it was my fault. As always, the clickbait and inflammatory statements are Mary's fault.
So if you're wondering,
or I should get the credit for it if it works.
Get the credit, right? So
Ben Affleck is dating Kathleen Kennedy, and it's actually a factual statement.
Technically, yes.
It's technically true.
Yes. I mean, anybody who goes by the name Kick probably does so because they
don't want to be associated with Kathleen Kennedy.
She really hates Disney Star Wars, so she changed her name to Kick.
We admit it. He is rumored to be dating RFK's daughter.
Yes.
Who goes by Kick, but her real name is Kathleen.
So we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today. We're going to talk about the fact that Jenna Ortega, who's been on the trail promoting Beetlejuice, talked to an interviewer about the fact that she's got problems with artificial intelligence because back when she was just 12 or 13
12 to
years,
14,
she signed up for Twitter because they were expecting her to do that for work and found explicit deepfake images of herself, and that was enough to make her delete it and get rid of it.
Which is crazy because that would have been in 2015-ish? 2015 to 2017. It would have been a while ago, yeah. I never came across any AI generated images whatsoever at the time.
No, it's not AI. It's think of like all of the Scarlett Johansson. Well, no, think of all the Scarlett Johansson fakes that were out there at that time. Certainly, what's her name? The girl who plays Hermione, Emma Watson. There was fakes of them like ages and ages ago, years ago.
Okay, so, I just never came across any of that. Yeah,
so. I mean, I'm saying there were articles written about it even back then.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Brittany Mahomes. If you don't know who that is Patrick Mahomes' wife, who is in deep trouble from a bunch of weirdos on the internet because she had the absolute temerity, the gall, to like a post that Donald Trump made on Instagram. I like the idea that Donald Trump doesn't sit on Twitter. I like the idea that his real interest is Instagram. He just doesn't tell anyone.
Yeah, he's actually very active on Instagram, and Truth Social is his side hustle. Yeah. But yeah, she could always just say she accidentally liked it.
Yeah, I mean, that used to work back in the day. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to. So we're going to do that. We're going to also talk about Justin Bieber. Just had his first child, and now people are wondering if he seems to be spiraling, you know.
Tell us what you guys think of the name Jack Blues Bieber. Blues is the middle name. Jack is the first. Tell us what you think. Is that weird, or is it just celebrity weird?
In a world where Blue Ivy is a name given to a child, I feel like Jack is fine.
Jack, but the middle name is the weird part.
Blues is fine. I mean, it's celebrity fine. Like
it's celebrity normal.
If a normal person did it, it's weird. It's like it's like they say, like if you're poor, you're weird. If you're rich, you're eccentric.
Right.
He's rich, so he can be eccentric.
In celebrity terms,
eccentric.
Pretty ordinary.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. Also, if you guys don't remember, and you might not because you don't know who Chaperone is still, right? Because we keep asking you guys.
What's a chaperone?
Well, she's still whining about, having fans that want to interact with her.
That must suck.
That must suck. It's just got to be awful.
She's seriously not attached to reality anymore.
So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If you're ready, Mary, we can just go ahead and get started. You ready?
I think I'm ready.
She's ready. All right. Well, first things first, I'm going to gloat mildly, really quickly, because The Crow opened to just $4.6 million over the weekend. It is the worst movie of 2024, in my humble opinion, at least of the ones that I've seen. It had a budget of $50 million on this film.
Okay.
And it earned that $4.6 million. That's exactly what it deserved to make.
What did you say is the benchmark for a good opening weekend? Like making half?
I mean, it
half
should
your way to even.
It should have made at least $25 to $30 million.
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
Actually kind of surprised
that the name alone didn't do it.
I guess, yeah. I would have thought the millennials would be coming out to see this.
Here's the crazy thing: it opened to number 8. It opened in 8th place.
To what? Inside Out 2 that's still in theaters?
Are you ready? Coraline re-release from Fathom Events came in 7th. Twisters came in 6th. The Forge came in 5th. I don't even know what that is. Blink Twice, which Colonel Kurtz saw and sent me some thoughts on.
Who was that again?
That was the what's her name?
Again, I don't even remember.
It's the one with Batista, and it's like a Me Too movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, and then It Ends With Us kept its 3rd place ranking from the week before. It has now crossed $120 million total gross.
Okay.
It's doing quite well, and that's domestic, right? It's past that worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Alien Romulus came in 2nd. It dropped. So last week, Alien Romulus came in 1st, and then Deadpool and Wolverine came in 2nd. They swapped this week. Deadpool and Wolverine is back to number 1.
That's crazy.
It's
been 3 weeks, right?
I think it's been more, right?
More than
4?
That? It's been a month
3 or 4
at this point.
Wow. Yep, and it lost, and that's after losing 120 theaters, and Alien Romulus gained 30. It Ends With Us added 100 screens to it. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, 5th week of release.
That is crazy.
5th week of release. That's crazy.
But The Crow is basically at the bottom.
Yep.
Well, Coraline fit the goth moviegoer.
Yes.
Subgenre, right?
Yeah.
So they had that to go see.
Look, it was, and here's the part that I found funny, guys. So the original director of The Crow, Alex Proyas, was basically spending the weekend gloating about the fact that this remake sucks balls.
I mean, it's a coping mechanism, right? Because he must feel like something he made is getting ruined, and that would be upsetting. But he just posted all of this stuff on Facebook.
I love Thorius. If you want a good reviewer to go and check out, Thorius Unlimited is a great channel on YouTube. I do recommend going and checking him out. I really, really like his work. He does great reviews. He says, I love how enraged this critic gets. Is that a thumbs down? Maybe they can lend their DCPs to film schools for classes on how not to make a movie. The theater sure won't need him after this weekend. He continues.
Box office is a bloodbath. He's just marked safe from seeing Crow 2024.
I love it. Look,
I thought the remake was a cynical cash grab. Not much cash to grab, it seems.
Look, this is the guy who made Dark City. He's the same guy who made Dark City in 1999. I love it. I love that he's able to just own it and just be like...
It's very bad PR for Crow 2024.
When the guy who made the original version of it is just dunking on you hardcore. Well, that's what happens when you take a movie that was used to deal with the loss of a man's fiance at the hands of a drunk driver and turn its 2 leads into drug abusing scumbags.
Yeah.
As as Joker said, you get what you effing deserve. Right.
So true.
Right.
And we say it all the time.
Exactly, guys. And if you guys should go check out our review for The Crow, which
the review did well. People want to engage in some hate for the crow.
I see that's the thing is like if you watched it, you'd get the idea that I hate everything we watch.
No.
But no.
No, you have a special hatred and anger toward
this
this movie.
movie.
It's specifically for this one.
Yeah.
Usually you're very charitable. And I was expecting you to be, actually.
No charity given to this film.
When I was in the back of my mind thinking the same things that you said, I was like, you're going to be alone in this. You're going to be the only one cynical enough to say it. But no, finally, you pushed back on that movie, and I loved it.
What's funny is like what it is it's this cynical attempt by them to change the culture around drugs, which is like
it?
I think
Did it even consciously like that?
I think it is. Look, they've. I mean, you could argue that they've done the same with sexual morality for the last 20 or 30 years, right? They incrementally move the goalpost on what is considered acceptable for protagonist storytelling. Now, in a film like this, it doesn't really work. Now, if you're telling a story where it's supposed to be shades of gray the whole way through, that makes sense. But that's not really what this film is supposed to be, because if Shelley isn't pure and angelic, then you lose the ability to sympathize with what Eric is doing, the horrific things Eric is doing on her behalf, right? I just saw a bunch of great reviews bringing up the same thing, and it does prove the point that there's a reason why Hollywood inherently tends to still tell stories where drug addicts tend to be either the bad guy or somebody who needs to be forgiven and shown mercy so that they can get better. But the whole point is that they need to get better. They don't make that argument in this film.
I guess that's why they were in rehab.
Yeah. Well, no, here's the other thing that I thought about afterwards. This would have been another thing they could have done. If they had made the movie where they were drug addicts together beforehand and then went to rehab, got clean, and then got murdered, that would have worked.
Yeah.
That would have worked.
Easy fix.
They did the work. They got clean, they turned their lives around, and then they're unceremoniously killed in a horrific way. That's fantastic.
The way they meet in rehab, talk for maybe 2 minutes total.
But it's a love for the ages.
And then fall in love. It's like a love for the ages is so YA novel.
Yes.
And I just couldn't take it seriously.
Yep.
I couldn't care about it.
Look, and the other thing was like, there's
got
a 20
from Weary Traveler. The Crow remake seems like it was trying to cash in on the goth subculture, being moderately mainstream instead of focusing on what made the original film so good, in my humble opinion.
I would agree. I mean,
but the goth subculture was only cool like that for a second time in the late 2010s, which is why I'm even more confused.
Just took that long to
about the
get done.
timing of all of this. Did it really take them 6 years to come up with this?
Yeah.
This garbage heap?
Yep.
It would have maybe done numbers in 2018.
No, I still don't even think so, right?
Or
and somebody
around
also
then.
look. I actually think that as bad as the movie was, Skarsgård was like the only thing that kept it from being worse. It could have been worse. He's a
good actor.
The original. Yeah, it's just a lot of people are saying if you want to see a better version of him going on a killing spree, go watch Boy Kills World, which came out this year and made no money either.
We didn't watch that one.
Yeah,
I thought we were planning on reviewing it, but it was the same.
No, I don't think they
released
it as. I don't think they released it at the theater we go to.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his deal? Why is he getting the short end of the stick on all of these releases?
He's not. Is
he just not? Not
no
a big
Alexander.
deal like that.
He's no Alexander.
Is Alex Skarsgård a way bigger deal?
I don't know which one is Stellan
I've
the bigger
heard
Skarsgård.
more about Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah. I think Bill has a great look. Like he has a face that was made for that Crow reboot. Mm-hmm. He really does.
If it were actually written well.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. So.
But it is what it's. He's no Brandon Lee in that role. He's just not. So all right. Let us move on. So again, good for Alex Proyas. Dig the knife in a little bit deeper. That's what they did in the movie.
That's
what they did in the movie. All right. I saw this earlier, and I thought I'd share this with everyone. Pizza Hut is going to let you sell your dignity for pizza.
So first of all, Pizza Hut isn't even that good. But secondly, for the small price of your dignity,
yes,
you can get a free pizza with a purchase.
Yes, that's the thing that they lie about in this article. It's also in the UAE. It's not here in America. So it says Pizza Hut is letting customers pay for pizza with TikTok dances.
Pay with your trend.
And they don't care how many followers you have.
That's crazy.
So it says, I never thought I'd see the day, but Pizza Hut in the UAE is letting customers pay for pizza with TikTok videos. This is part of the new Pay With Your Trend promotion that applies to the My Box deal. There could be some jokes made there. Holy shit. To snag a free pizza, you must first place an order for My Box like you typically would. This can be done online with the Pizza UAE site, app, or in physical store. Who the hell Look, the last 2 times I've been back to Minnesota, I keep meaning to go to the Pizza Hut Classic, and we keep forgetting.
Damn it.
I need to do that.
That's a bucket list item.
Yes. So then you film a TikTok of yourself with MyBox. Then the content can feature any TikTok trend you like. Next, you publish your video on TikTok, tag at Pizza Hut UAE, and then add the hashtag your terms, your conditions to the caption. Make sure you're following the Pizza Hut UAE page, and then your account is set to public. The last step is to keep an eye out for your DMs. As soon as Pizza Hut sees the TikTok, they will send you a direct message with a one-time promo code.
This is so complicated.
I know.
Why?
Just go to work and make the money to...
Or just don't eat Pizza Hut, because why would you do that to yourself? I've always had a problem with Pizza Hut. I hate it.
I like Pizza Hut more.
It's way too bready.
I like Pizza Hut more than Domino's. I do.
I mean, neither
I like
of them
Domino's,
are great, but
pan pizza.
Pizza Hut is worse.
But
better vibes if you're eating inside, but
we've got a King's Pizza over here that's perfectly good.
Sure.
You know,
their marketing lead actually said social media is becoming literally a currency in today's world.
Yep.
It's been accessible only to those who have a large following. With this promo, we're opening it up for everyone. No matter who you are, what you do, or how many followers you have, you can use your content to pay for Pizza Hut. That's great.
It's just it's just like modernity, whether
they're
going to
need to pay me.
Yes.
They're going to need to pay me to do a TikTok dance or eat their pizza.
I mean, you got a bigger following than the average person, so
actually, I'm waiting for our brand deal from Pizza Hut at this point. If they're this desperate,
I would do it.
I think we might get an email from them.
We don't even there's not even any Pizza Huts around here.
No.
I can't order for one from around here.
Thankfully.
So, all right. So, guys, depending on how strapped you are for cash.
Would you do this?
I would like to know if anybody here would do this.
I hope you wouldn't. I have faith in you. Okay, I would lose all my respect for the crisis actors if they would do this to themselves.
All right, it's time to tell everybody about how Ben Affleck is in fact dating Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't know that. We don't know if they're dating. They're hanging out. Ben Affleck is hanging out with Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, so post-divorce, Ben Affleck has been all over the tabloid headlines, and now they're rumoring he is dating one of RFK's children. She is 36 years old. Her name is Kathleen Kennedy, ironically. Just to be clear, we are not talking about head of Lucasfilm Kathleen Kennedy.
What?
We are talking about
not?
the daughter of RFK, who goes by the nickname Kick, which is a strange choice. But they were recently seen hanging out.
That picture had Jennifer Connelly vibes at first when I saw it.
Well, it has Jennifer Garner vibes, which is weird.
Yep.
They were recently seen hanging out at the Polo Lounge at the Beverly Hills Hotel and other hotspots. The idea that they're hanging out or in a talking stage at ages, 50 and 36 is so embarrassing to me.
Yeah.
The secondhand embarrassment is
get
crazy.
past the talking stage. You're gonna die soon.
If you're trying to get married before you die, it's really time to get on that.
Yep.
But I don't know if they're just friends or what's going on behind the scenes. He probably is dating her though, because she does look like his type.
How would you describe his type?
He has two types, and it's J-Lo and Jennifer Garner. She's the Jennifer Garner type.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I did see.
He has two types, and he married both of them.
I saw a great meme from the Babylon Bee. It says Jennifer Lopez officially cashes in for her free wedding after she got four weddings and get the fifth one free.
All the holes in her card, right? Yeah.
I mean, maybe he just wants to talk about seed oils with RFK. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he just really wants to get involved in policy.
Well, after I saw this headline, a bunch of people were absolutely losing their minds because they didn't know that Taylor Swift also dated one of RFK's children. She dated Connor Kennedy, his son, back in It was probably like the early 2010s.
In the chat, Mary, somebody asks, why does your title say Kathleen Kennedy? Well, that's her name.
Because that's her name.
That's her name.
Okay. We weren't telling you a lie.
Kick is not on her birth certificate.
Yeah. That's actually her name. So we weren't lying. We are journalists reporting the truth every day.
Hey.
No fake news on Pop Culture Crisis ever. But yeah, Taylor Swift dated Connor Kennedy. She dressed like a 1950s housewife the entire time. It was almost a little creepy, but people were posting pictures of Taylor Swift hanging out casually with RFK.
Yeah.
And after his, his endorsement of Trump.
I mean, his family basically abandoned him.
RFK?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're pissed at him for
his entire family, or
the
just
extended family
the
is
extended
all
family?
like, yeah. Also, like Billy Baldwin, if anybody actually cares about Billy Baldwin, like abandoned their 20-year friendship because he says that it happened before. It was really, really crazy. So he wrote this whole thread about how he's RFK's abandoned his values and he doesn't recognize him anymore. And then somebody says, so you're ending your friendship over politics? And he says, the friendship ended when his wife committed suicide. And they're like, I don't know if that came out the way you meant it to.
Wait, did that actually happen? I don't know about RFK's personal life.
I've never looked into it. It was just, let me see if I can find it here.
That's awful. If he actually said that, that's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, you can just openly tell everyone that what you're doing is ending a friendship or even a familial relationship over politics. Just be transparent about the fact that that's what you're doing. Yep. But that's really sad for RFK. I feel bad for him. But clearly his heart is in what he's saying if he's putting these personal relationships on the line.
Here's Billy Baldwin's long thread about why they're not.
Oh my goodness. Anymore. Congratulations or sorry that happened. I am not reading all that.
And then somebody says, end a friendship on Twitter so people pay attention to you. Not weird at all. He says the friendship ended years ago when his wife killed herself.
That's very weird to say that.
Well, apparently, at least from what the headlines I read were, and I did not investigate this, so this is not me reporting it as news. I don't know if it's true that he had a journal of like affairs that he had and something like that, and she found it. I don't know if those are connected. I don't know about any of that. That's just what left-wing media was using as their headlines for that. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
But that's a very
wild.
long thread to write about somebody just because you don't like their politics when you used to be friends.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like RFK's children have disowned him, though. It's weird, though, because JFK was almost certainly just as, if not more, conservative than Trump is in 2024.
Is that true?
Given that he was a Democrat
back in the
60s, I would assume so. Yeah. But they're canceling RFK over views that are even more tame than that.
There's a 20 there.
20 from Soapy Enigma. Do we know when and where we can buy the skateboards?
Assuming that's something to do with the Boonies, you would have to talk to the people involved in Boonies HQ over there. I don't know the slightest.
I don't have the slightest clue what you're talking about. Yep. Sorry.
You'd have to check over there, man. Sorry.
Thanks anyway.
Sorry or happy that happened to you. But
congrats or sorry that happened. But then from there, the rumors got even more extreme, claiming Ben Affleck has been cheating on Jennifer Lopez with, quote, Z-list actress and Trump supporter Kit Kennedy.
This person hates Ben Affleck, apparently. They have multiple posts about this.
Which is what they say led J-Lo to file for divorce.
Even this is the most emotionally and psychologically manipulative thing I've seen in a long time, where they posted pictures side by side, and they posted a picture of Jennifer Lopez as an adult, and then
looking like
purposely picked a picture of Kit Kennedy, which what looks to be when she was a kid.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very weird behavior. There's no confirmation one way or the other. I don't think that was the reason.
Yeah.
Because the other inside sources were saying that J-Lo wanted to work on things and that Ben didn't. So
women, you know what that is, right? Because a woman loves the idea of going to therapy. She just fucking loves it. She's like, let's go to therapy.
It's weird because J-Lo is clearly the one that needs to be fixed, saved, etc. But she's the one who wants to fix and save.
I mean, I don't know if he's not in need of a little bit of fixing and saving.
He seems a little bit more stable. Am I wrong? He just likes to be close to the instability.
I don't think either of them were all that stable.
Well, then maybe they deserved each other this whole time.
Like he does, he gets a lot of work done, but that sometimes comes at the expense of your personal life and your health.
It's weird. So if Kit Kennedy is openly a Trump supporter, which I don't know anything about her, so let's just assume they're right. Ben Affleck is not getting any backlash for hanging out with or dating her, and it seems like Hollywood is becoming less and less hostile to Trump and Trump supporters in general, being friends with Trump supporters, being related to Trump supporters.
We're going to be talking about that more when we talk about Brittany Mahomes. It does seem to become a thing where what used to be super stigmatized is now kind of a nothing burger.
Speaking of which, another nothing burger is the cancellation of Hulk Hogan's biopic. This is not the Killing Gawker movie.
Correct. Which, oddly enough, the Killing Gawker movie being done by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Weird connections happening today, but Dom Lucra posted an announcement. Hulk Hogan's biopic that has been in development since 2019 was set to star Chris Hemsworth, has been canceled due to his appearance at the RNC in Milwaukee. Todd Phillips said this is due to Hulk Hogan mocking Kamala Harris's Indian heritage and saying that he would body slam her if given the opportunity, along with other controversial statements. However, the community note says the biopic is canceled, but it has nothing to do with Hulk Hogan endorsing Trump or showing up at the RNC or anything like that.
Joe Russo, not the Joe Russo from Marvel, tweets, as someone who was a producer on the Hulk Hogan biopic, I can tell you the below tweet is fake news. The movie fell apart in 2023 and had absolutely nothing to do with the Hulk Hogan appearing at the DNC or the comments that he made about Kamala Harris.
I didn't even hear him say that about Kamala Harris. Did he say that at the RNC, or was that?
No, that was afterwards.
Okay. That would have been crazy if he said he would body slam the opposing candidate at the RNC.
I think what he actually said was like, do you want to see me body slam Kamala? Like, he was playing up his wrestling persona.
Sure.
He was playing, it was intellectually dishonest to make it seem like he was actually threatening to do that. Right.
So the Killing Gawker movie is more interesting anyway. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. This was Joe Russo. He added sections from an IGN article. It says, it was a situation where business-wise, Netflix kind of missed the date, as far as the business situation. And so I had the choice at the time to switch gears, Hogan explained. All of a sudden, there was a business glitch, and then they tried to fix it a few days later, and I'd already decided to move on. So it just seems like stuff got crossed.
It was in production hell.
Yeah.
If it was already started in 2019.
Yep.
Then COVID happened, and then the strike happened, and all sorts of things happened.
I love the meme of like Maury, and it says, the test proves that not everyone is in fact your brother. And Hulk Hogan's like, what do you mean, brother? I would love to know what. Oh, by the way, when I say Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, I don't think they're going to be acting in it. I think they're just, their production company is making it. I don't know if either of them
thought Ben Affleck was set to star.
I don't know. You would have to double check on that. Chris Hemsworth is a funny choice, given that Chris Hemsworth has a full head of hair. So you'll have to wear the bald cap or get it shaved.
Well, what is it that he wears on his head? Is it just a bandana, or?
Well, I mean, Hulk Hogan's famously got this very, very, like, he doesn't completely shave his head.
Okay, so what Hulk Hogan actually said was, want me to body slam Kamala Harris? I said, do you want me to body slam Kamala Harris? Want me to drop the leg on Kamala?
Like, these are all, he's just playing up his wrestling persona. Acting as if he's being serious is unbelievably dishonest. More dishonest than us saying that Ben Affleck is dating Kathleen Kennedy.
It's starring Ben Affleck as Hulk Hogan.
I don't see it personally.
I do. I see a resemblance.
He's gonna have to get more leathery and more of a fake tan.
Just get a spray tan. Do some aging with CGI. It'll be fine.
Chat, I would love to know who you think should be cast as Hulk Hogan. Who you think would be a good look for Hulk Hogan? That would be good to know. All right. This is my favorite thing that came out over the weekend. I was so excited to show you guys this clip today. Tyrese Gibson says that when he was young, his mom made him act mentally handicapped.
It's a word that starts with R.
At the Social Security office so that they could get an extra $780 a month. I love this story. It's just the way that everybody reacts.
Why would he admit to this?
My mama made us go to a Social Security building and play retarded. You get that check.
$700.
Bro, just casually admitting to fraud.
Straight up. Government cheese, nigga.
Nigga, you been acting.
that was my first acting gig.
Your mom was your first director. She gave you your first movie gig. Your mom, first director. Nigga walked right in there.
That was my first motherfucking acting gig.
That was your first acting gig.
Hey, man, they laughing off.
Your mom gave you.
Why you laughing so goddamn hard, man?
His mom was there.
His face red over. He laughing.
Rest in peace to the legend. But your mom gave you.
My instinct is to say based, but since it's taxpayer money, you know,
It's not based.
It's not based. It's like my instinct is to say that because you know, fuck the government. But
it's not the government's money.
It's like yours money. It's our money.
Yeah.
It's everyone else's money that's being redirected through fraud. So it's just funny, but it's not based.
Right.
Correct.
I'm kind of surprised he would admit to that.
I mean,
publicly.
it wasn't his fault. His mom made him do it. Like,
Is his mom dead?
No, she's
Was she in the room? It looked like they were gesturing to her in the room.
Like, I think she's a.
Wonder if she was okay with
I wonder if
them
he's
saying
still
that.
going through with his lawsuit with Home Depot.
Oh, I totally
Remember that?
forgot about the
And the
scammer
airport-
since birth.
And not just that, and then the racism at the airport.
He was
claimed.
taught to be a scam artist from a very young age, clearly.
Look,
And this is where he got his acting chops.
I'll always love him in the Fast and the Furious movies. It's fine. It's fine,
Great.
Tyrese. You know.
All is forgiven because you're in Fast and Furious.
Exactly. You're 110% right. All right. Let's move on then, shall we? I thought we could all have a laugh at that. Time to talk about Lily Allen.
Yes, over the weekend, Lily Allen was getting absolutely eviscerated by activists all over Twitter because she admitted publicly on a podcast that she is returning her dog. She got this dog back in 2021, just for background. The dog's name was actually Mary, ironically.
Ironically enough.
She is returning this dog or rehoming it, something like that, because it has, quote, ruined her life. She says this dog has ruined her life.
I mean,
ultimately,
you have to be completely disconnected from the internet to not understand that this is going to get a crazy reaction.
Yes.
Like, maybe I guess she just doesn't pay attention to politics, but Kristi Noem's story wasn't that long ago.
And it's still striking a nerve.
Yeah.
So obviously people value dogs more than human beings these days.
They do.
So you're going to get dragged for saying anything like this. Here's what she said on the podcast. We actually did adopt a dog already, but then it ate my passport. And so I took her back to the home. She ate all 3 of our passports and they had our visas. And I cannot tell you how much money it cost me to get everything replaced because it was during COVID.
Oh my goodness. Her life is so difficult.
An absolute logistical nightmare because the father of my children, her ex-husband, lives in England. I couldn't get them back to see their dad for 4 months, 5 months because this effing dog had eaten the passports. I just couldn't look at her. I was like, you've ruined my life.
You made my life mildly more difficult for a couple of months. You've ruined my life.
Passports weren't the only thing she ate. She was a very badly behaved dog, and I really tried very hard with her, but it just didn't work out, and the passports were the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak.
You know what it is? It's like, have you ever seen that meme where the dog actually eats the kid's homework and he says, "No one's gonna believe you ever"?
Yeah,
that's literally what
that
this is.
situation.
She's like, look, like they're like, "Where's your passport?" "My dog ate it." Yeah, that didn't work in elementary school either.
Her ex-husband is like, why can't I see my kids?
She's like,
the dog ate their passports. What am I supposed to do?
It was actually like a dodge. It was like a power play during divorce proceedings.
So she was getting some really insane backlash. People were calling her a pet abuser and sociopathic for her decision here. I mean, ultimately, she did do what she needed to do, right?
Yeah.
If she didn't love the dog and didn't have it in her to take care of the dog, then she returned the dog where it would be taken care of.
I suppose
they would say don't adopt it in the first place if you knew that you didn't have what it took to take care of it
like
properly,
you should maybe what you do is every time you go to adopt a pet now, what you do as the person in charge of the adoption agency is you say, I want you to picture something. You're going to England for 4 months, or in a month, and your dog eats your passport and makes it impossible for you to travel for the next 4 months. What do you do?
Do you disown the dog?
Do you disown the dog, or do you
forgive the
dog and love it anyways? And if you don't choose to love it anyways, you choose not to adopt it.
I've noticed just people make very flippant decisions about adopting animals, not understanding the consequences.
That's why they really...
And the time and the money invested.
If I remember correctly, like these agencies really argue against giving them as pets ever, because you never know whether the person you're giving the pet to as a gift is going to actually take care of it.
Well, what's crazy is David Arbor, her husband, the actor in Stranger Things, is not getting raked over the coals. It's just her, even though they had both adopted the dog together.
Okay. Well, she told the story.
Yeah, she's the one who delivered the message.
See, this is where men tend to be smarter, right? Like women love to.
A man would have kept that shit to himself.
Women love to trauma dump the worst shit in their lives and then wonder why people have weird reactions to it.
Women love to have a podcast.
It's like, have you ever seen, like, every once in a while this will happen where a guy will say something like this, and then somebody online will be like, you would have to waterboard me to get that story out of me. Why are you volunteering it to anyone?
Yeah, lots of toxic oversharing going on here. But she noticed that a lot of people were sending her hate and backlash, so she clarified herself in this novel of a post, even tagging PETA, thanking them for adding fuel to the fire. Very responsible of you, PETA. We hate PETA, right?
Actually, no. I've kind of come around to it. The trolling, as it was, if you hate PETA, it should be more for the actual, like, don't they like what they actually do to dogs, right? Animals. But their social media, which I used to hate, now I at least understand that half the time they're trolling, and it comes off fairly well. But you should hate PETA for all of the animals that they've killed, right?
Right. So here's what she said. This is the part of the podcast that the tabloids decided not to quote with their articles about me dumping my puppy, saying that she tried very hard for a long time with it. People have been furiously reacting to a deliberately distorted cobbling of quotes designed to make people angry. I've received some really abhorrent messages, including death threats. Some of the most disgusting comments have been all over my social media channels, and I'm not really surprised because this is exactly what those articles are designed to do.
I mean, animals are a very big sore spot for a lot of people. Like she could do something, like she could have forgot her kid in an airport and it wouldn't have gotten the backlash that.
Right, exactly. That's what pisses me off is the hypocrisy here.
She could literally pull a Home Alone and leave her kids somewhere, like in a foreign country.
Yeah.
And people would be, she's a mom. Things happen. Being a mom's the hardest job in the world.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Can't judge.
Yeah.
You never been in their situation. But that's what pisses me off is like, when you see a news headline about some woman throwing her newborn baby in a dumpster, people will blame the healthcare system. But when Lily Allen responsibly rehomes her dog that she tried to train for multiple years, she's a sociopath. She
just shouldn't have told the story.
She shouldn't have told the story, but people shouldn't also have this insane obsession with pets. Especially dogs as substitute human companions or children.
There's just weird blind spots that people have. It's kind of like whenever somebody in the NFL eventually gets in trouble for beating their wife, right, or something like that. Nobody says anything, but what's his name gives a speech at a Christian college and at a Catholic college, and everyone's loses their mind. Right. Pick and choose your outrage.
Yeah, it says everything about the people who are angry.
And there is right now, because there's what did we just see the other day? 45% of women are childless, right? So there is a lot of sublimating.
Or will be by a certain year, I forget what it was.
There's a lot of sublimating that care and affection that you have for your children onto pets now.
I mean, even scarier than that, using a dog as a substitute for a child, is I think a lot of women are using dogs as substitutes for husbands. Is that crazy to say?
In what way?
Is that crazy? That they get a gigantic, fighting dog as a protector.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and they sleep in the same bed as it.
I love those channels where it's like it's like bragging about how your dog's gonna stop an intruder. I'm like, you
So
can do this. I'm
freaking
like, that's cool and all, but you could also just have a gun and own
Fits
a firearm.
right in your hand, and it doesn't slobber, and you don't need to feed it, you don't need to bathe it, nothing at all. But they wouldn't agree with you on that.
No, and this really just does go back to the fact that women, like when you take women to these interviews, they're just bound to tell some story. That's
Well, this is her podcast that she used as a platform to make herself look bad. So lessons are learned.
They're like women just love to tell stories that are eventually going to get them, dunked on. Mm-hmm. Or at least men will never understand the desire to be so forthright with stuff that's so personal.
There's also like self-disclosing journalism about your dating life.
Yeah.
Like this woman I saw like published multiple articles that were like, why can't I find a good man? Also, like, my hookup gave me genital warts.
And then they're like, why I'm not ashamed.
Yeah, why I've forgiven myself. We were literally talking about that last week.
Look, as I say multiple times a week on this podcast, there's nothing a woman is more ready to do at any given moment than to forgive herself for her mistakes.
We got a 20, right?
Yep.
Who's this from?
Potatoes for Seamus.
I don't see it anywhere.
It's right there. It's
I don't see it.
Right, just check on this. Can you read it from the screen over there?
Oh, Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, picture yourself. You are... Wait, what?
I don't know.
Inglets?
I don't know what that means.
Me nourishing olives, but you got to the pantry only to find that Mocha has derped all the olives. Whatever will Brett do? Also, when's the Lore Lodge coming back on We Want Aiden? That was a confusing super chat.
Thank you for that, Seamus. Potatoes for Seamus. But Mocha... Probably, since olives are good, Mocha probably doesn't like olives because Mocha is bad.
So true.
Yeah.
Aiden, I'm sure he'll come back at some point
eventually.
soon.
But yes, I think a good rule of thumb is like, you know how they always used to talk about, and I think me and you've had this discussion, right? When you're in a good mood and you make plans and then later your mood changes and you just suddenly don't want to engage in those plans anymore. That's a pretty common thing, right?
I've never experienced
that. You've never understood that?
Never.
When I was still using, that was a very big thing. Now, not so much. You make plans, you keep your plans. It's important. But when you're on a podcast, there's an emotional up that comes with, telling stories, being in front of a camera. And then maybe you just tell a story. And then when you're done, you're like, oh, I should have kept that to myself. Like maybe
also never experienced
what she should do is be like, does this story benefit me at all in public? I still can't believe Kristi Noem volunteered that story in a book. Her story in a book. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, most people just didn't look into the context. What was the context?
I don't think it matters. I think what you should do is operate on what is the worst possible headline that could be made out of this.
Right, exactly.
And then just base it off that.
But also don't let journalists run your life based on what you're allowed to say, It's in your power how you react to it. If people are going to lie about some shit that you said, that's their problem.
Is there anything in telling this story that's so important that you don't just keep it? Like, I understand your point, like that, but now we're striving into like my truth territory. Like I got to tell people because it's my truth to share. No.
Sometimes you're oversharing.
That is true.
And it never needed to be.
It's like, does it really need to be there? Right?
No podcast needs to exist anyway.
Correct.
So.
Correct. So.
That would make her delete her entire platform.
It's like the stuff that I've talked about, and I've been pretty open with my past and things that have happened, but I still, thank you, guys. Delayed as usual.
You were saying?
Just saying that, it's important to focus on a bit of measured response when sharing stuff like that. It is.
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right. Let's move on then, shall we? What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's start with cringe.
Cringe first? All right. Fair enough. Always good to start with cringe. I have not watched this one yet. It's from an account called Microplastics Obliterator.
I don't know if anybody is going to cringe at this, but I felt called out by it.
Okay. Here we go. It says, POV, your coworker went to film school.
Dude, I saw Alien Romulus last night.
How was it?
Really good. Really, really good.
How's the mise en scène? How's the mise en scène?
What? How's the what?
The mise en scène. You don't know what that is. No, I had read a spec script, so I was wondering how it technically played out on the screen. I'm pretty interested in something like that.
Yeah, it played out well.
Sure.
How was the alien design? I heard that.
Dude, it was pretty good.
Liam's like, what the big explosions? Was there a big explosion at the end? Is there a post-credit scene? Meanwhile, you and I are trying to talk about the sound design and how it was influenced by the past Alien movies.
Yeah, I think you'd really like it, actually.
Does Deadpool and Wolverine come in for their cameo? Go watch Marvel movies. Pussy.
This is I'm literally the other guy when I'm making fun of Apple TV.
Did you see it on 70mm?
What the fuck?
You're the one with all of the technical knowledge.
Yeah, but I make fun of people who are overly into that stuff, right? There's a reason why I say that I like blockbuster movies and explosions.
Yes.
And I make fun of Apple TV for being self-important.
But then I'm the one like making fun of post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
So it's both of us.
We contain
really.
multitudes.
Yeah, we contain multitudes.
Like there is a reason why I like to. I'm like A24 is for douches, and you're so self-important.
Yeah.
Sorry if my love of Twisters isn't film school enough for you.
Do you guys wish that we reviewed Alien Romulus? Because I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that.
Were they asking for one?
Look,
Too bad.
I've only ever seen the first and second Alien movies. I never saw any of the ones after that.
What? How many are there?
A lot. I never saw Prometheus.
It's like more than Mission Impossible at this point.
No, it's probably up there. But I've only seen the first two, and it was a long time ago. And there's a difference between, like, if we did, I would have had to go back through and then like rewatch at the very least the first two, so that I'd have like a better understanding of it beyond just what I remember from when I saw it when I was a kid. So yeah. All right. So look, I saw things back and forth. Some people liked it, other people did not like it. But you know,
it was
woke. I do like laughing at film Twitter. I love laughing at the at film Twitter and people's analysis of those types of things. I did see something the other day where somebody wrote some review and somebody says that's the most letterbox thing I've ever seen, which is the greatest insult I've ever heard.
I like low effort letterboxed reviews that are just like 2 words.
Go to Criticless, guys. Once again, go check out Criticless and put your reviews up on there. All right, let's go and check out Cute of the Day then and see what we've got here. Get rid of that. Pull this up here. This one here is from Big Al. He says, this is Princess demanding attention during episodes of Psych.
That is not, you have to stay focused. Stay focused, Kings.
Psych is a good show. People should go watch Psych. All right,
Very true.
Princess is looking cute there. All right, let's check out one more here. This is from Cookie Don. It says, sharing breakfast. Oh.
Wait, what?
There's 2 of them
I can't
there.
tell what's going on here.
There's a dog and then there's a cat.
Who's
stealing whose food? Let's check one more.
We need to know.
Now they're both eating it.
That's cute.
That's cute. Good for them.
Sharing is caring.
There you go. Good for them. All right, guys. Now that we've done that, remember you can submit your pets. Cute of the day. Hashtag PCC Pets on Twitter. Tag myself and the show in there. Please. And then we can add them there. All right. Let's go ahead and get started then, shall we?
Yeah, on a much darker note, it's happened to Taylor Swift. It's happened to Twitch streamers, countless celebrities and influencers at this point. Explicit AI deepfakes. And just recently, Jenna Ortega talked about her decision to leave Twitter for good because she had seen explicit deepfakes of herself as a child. Very disgusting to even think about what type of person is sending that type of thing to her, or any child star.
Well, not just that. She said she got like basically dick pics as well.
Yes.
Like, as a child.
Both.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, because she started out on Disney on a show called Stuck in the Middle, and that was her big break when she entered the public eye. And I'm sure it wasn't easy going through that experience. But In a recent interview with the New York Times, they asked her about her thoughts on AI, and she said, "I hate AI. Here's the thing, AI could be used for incredible things. I think I saw something the other day where they were saying artificial intelligence was able to detect breast cancer for 4 years before it progressed. That's beautiful. Let's keep it to that. Did I like being 14 and making a Twitter account because I was supposed to and seeing dirty edited content of me as a child? No, it's terrifying. It's corrupt and it's wrong."
I mean, that would have just been Photoshop back then. I think that
I don't
AI
know.
Yeah.
By 2017, I had not seen anything like that, but she said the first DM she ever opened by herself at age 12, which never should have happened, was an unsolicited photo of a man's genitals, and that was just the beginning of what was to come.
They should have never had her, like, and I'm guessing they wanted her to do that for work, and they should have never encouraged her to be on Twitter at that age.
Yeah, she said...
I mean, technically, that's terms of service is like 13, right?
It is 13, unless it's managed by somebody else, which it should be. She said, "I used to have a Twitter account, and I was told..."
I'm sorry, she said she was 14. So she was of age, or of
she said
terms of service.
No, she said the first DM she opened was when she was 12.
Okay. That doesn't make any sense because she said, oh, okay. She said she made it up here. She said she made the Twitter account at 14. Either way, none of this, otherwise none of this stuff should be happening.
She continued, "I used to have a Twitter account and I was told you got to do it. You've got to build your image. I ended up deleting it about 2 or 3 years ago because the influx after the show Wednesday had come out. These absurd images and photos, I already was in a confused state that I just deleted it. It was disgusting and it made me feel bad. It made me feel uncomfortable. That's why I deleted it, because I couldn't say anything without seeing something like that. So one day I just woke up and I thought, I don't need this anymore. So I dropped it." Which is probably a good choice. Probably a healthy choice.
I make the point all the time. I'm like, I'll never understand why mainstream celebrities would want to run their own social media accounts. Like, I get it when you're like an influencer and you've built your brand off the internet, that you kind of have to be connected to it in a certain way. But for the people who are part of the machine, they can just let the machine run that stuff, depending on how much they feel that their their authentic voice is necessary. But if all you're posting is like movie, when's this next movie coming out? I'm going to be in this movie on this date. And if they're not sitting there posting a bunch of their own personal thoughts, let a brand manager handle it. I don't know. I wouldn't want to if I were them.
That might make sense for like the tech illiterate boomer actors and actresses, but for the younger ones like Jenna Ortega, who is, I believe, 21 or 22, it's something she grew up with anyway, so it would feel weird to pass that off to an employee. And a lot of celebrities also don't have the humility to admit that it's destroying them.
Their time online. Look at Mark Hamill.
Their fixation on feedback,
yeah.
And that's a common trait in a lot of entertainers. She's also previously broken into tears over her relationship with Instagram and bandwagon mentality on social media. She revealed her relationship with Instagram gets ugly. She confided that in her own time online, it feels toxic. She discussed how her sarcastic and dry sense of humor makes it very easy for her to get herself in trouble.
Well, it's because you were never meant to actually interact with people that you don't have some type of personal relationship with. So think about it this way. If you have that dry sense of humor, right? That tends to come out amongst the people that you're closest to. And then when you've just met someone and you're in the early stages of getting to know a person, either as a friend or a coworker, it gradually works its way into the relationship as you feel more comfortable with the person. But now everyone just drops their whole personality on everyone all the time. And a bunch of people who have had no exposure to the actual you or have any of that, that buildup, now get the most hard to discern aspects of your personality at the forefront. And that's very, very difficult for people to understand.
Well, feeling misunderstood, misinterpreted is one thing, especially when studios see you as a potential liability. Yeah. But as for the X-rated deepfake situation, which Jenna Ortega and a lot of other celebrities have gone through, are going to go through in the next coming years, Xochitl Gomez as well, underaged. there's not an obvious solution to it, and even you speaking out about it isn't a solution because you're adding fuel to the fire.
And you're making yourself a target.
Making yourself an extra target by talking about it, and prompting people to search out that material. And I just don't see any path forward. The internet is just going to get harder and harder to trust. It's not just explicit deepfakes, but deepfakes of political rallies, of movie premieres, and movies themselves.
Told you,
you can't trust anything you see.
I was reading Ted Kaczynski's manifesto and everything that he talks about the technological future, and he made a lot of predictions.
Did he talk about artificial intelligence?
He was talking about genetic mutations and stuff like that in the passages I was reading, but he's not wrong about post-industrial revolution. The technology that we are reliant on is becoming more oppressive as companies become more technologically advanced. They seek to control more people. It's crazy how much stuff is in there, and we see the pain that comes from technology every day.
Yeah, this is just a blip in that. But sadly, celebrities, influencers, streamers will be primarily targeted with this type of thing, but they have the most power to actually draw attention to it if there is a possibility it can be legislated on. Especially in the interests of children who are in the public eye and don't have a choice in the matter. I mean, for Jenna Ortega, she has done sex scenes. She has done nudity in a lot of things. So it almost feels like you are giving people permission to feel entitled to your body at a certain point.
But those would have been made before she ever chose to do anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Like, if anything, maybe what happened was she's like, look, these fake images are already
It's like it's out there anyway, so why not?
Like, that might have played a role in it.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
But on another note, Jenna Ortega was in an interview with BuzzFeed, and the interviewer decided to reassure her that she is Latina enough. Now, I don't know what that means, but it was supposed to be a really touching moment for them. Here, let's take a look.
Jenna, I just wanted to say, from one Latina to another, you're Latina enough. I don't care what anyone else says, especially
this is like a backhand full. Like, I was literally just telling somebody the other day about this line from this episode of Bones where it goes, backhand full of knuckles with that compliment. What the hell do you mean Latina enough? And who is she to dictate to her whether that's true or not? It's like the biggest insult wrapped in a compliment I've ever heard. Like, this was better off just not being said at all.
Jenna, I just wanted to say, from one Latina to another, you're Latina enough. I don't care what anyone else says, especially like as someone in the industry, like you've opened so many doors for people like me. So you are Latina enough. Thank you so much for everything you do. I really appreciate you.
So they hug it out at the end. And Catherine O'Hara is like,
and
that's
then
great.
Kevin McAllister's mom is just behind there like, yes, that is true. Look, that's insane.
Isn't that weird?
That
Am I the only one who thought that was really weird?
Like, I understand. Like, here's the thing. They could both go through this experience and be like, yes, that was great. If one person just says like, that was a little weird to that lady, she might think twice about whether I guarantee you she meant no harm by it. The lady who gave who did that likely didn't mean any harm by it and thought that she was being nice. But holy shit.
Yeah, I think it was really awkward.
I mean, or she's the meanest of mean girls and she's like, I'm going to take this actress down a peg.
I got secondhand embarrassment.
I don't care. She's like, you know what? You're pretty enough. I don't care what anybody says. You're beautiful just the way you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I admire your confidence. That's because you think you're beautiful no matter what anyone says.
And then people were in these threads like overanalyzing like what it means to be Latina in Hollywood.
My first reaction was I got secondhand embarrassment, but then my second reaction was, oh, it's not actually white people who are racist. They're self-enforcing it. So there were a ton of people from actual Latin American countries in the comments arguing about this, saying the interviewer's wrong. Jenna Ortega is not Latina because she wasn't born in a Latin American country and doesn't speak Spanish. So therefore, she's not Latina, and they can gatekeep that identity from her.
I mean, this is the problem when Hollywood tries to focus as much as they do on your superficial traits being a marketing tool.
And, you know,
eventually
our sympathy for Jenna Ortega aside, she has played into that a little bit. She said that after being called a fake Latina for not speaking Spanish, Jenna Ortega has opened up about the shame of not feeling like a good enough representative for her community. So she had to be validated in her identity by this
Mary,
interviewer.
I am not rich and privileged or oppressive enough to be a white guy. I'm sorry. I don't have enough wealth and resources, nor enough of a desire to tell you how to live your life to be truly a white person.
They were all calling her a gringa in the comments.
It reminded me of this thing I was reading from James Lindsay earlier about this person talking about, if you want to think about where identity politics can go, this person was talking to another person on Twitter, and he says, so you think that you can put an Italian living in Lower Manhattan in the same box as a Norwegian in Minnesota, and a woman in Lubbock, Texas in the same box as a kid in Bangor, Maine? That's deranged. Who came up with this construct? It's insane. I suppose we should create a box for Jews too. This is where identity politics goes when you start purity testing everyone. And then somebody says, this is the response. Somebody says, admitting that whiteness as a construct harms black people doesn't equal all white people have all the same experiences. This person says, they're a trans Jewish boy who grew up low income. I still have to work to dismantle whiteness within myself. What? This is the natural outcome of identity politics when you start purity testing people based on superficial categories of your immutable characteristics.
We've got a 20 from High Voltage 75. Speaking of Ortega, I saw a new Wednesday themed cereal at the store today. It looks like Cocoa Puffs mixed with marshmallows. Would you try it, Brett? I'd ask Mary, but we already know how she feels about adults eating cereal. Would you try it?
Yes, I would.
Sounds.
I actually had a thing the other day where I said, I found like an old post of mine that says whoever decided to put marshmallows in Trix deserves a raise and then to be categorized as a crack dealer.
Dude, that sounds like a clogged artery right there.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure it tastes good though in the moment.
No, and then it's
not even really. But
no, it does. It's the shame you feel after.
The shame sets in after you're done, right? But yeah, a lot of Latinos in the comments were saying that Jenna Ortega is not a real Latino because she doesn't speak Spanish and she was born in America. And even some of them were even claiming Anya Taylor-Joy is more of a Latina than Jenna Ortega because she can speak Spanish, even though she is pale.
Yeah.
But she doesn't get the credit for that.
We should have saved this for Dane.
She's Argentine, right?
Yes, we should have saved this for Dane.
Actually, true.
This should have been.
We need to ask Dane for his perspective because he said that he even got made fun of for like looking whiter than everybody else in Puerto Rico, which is just strange to think about.
I have a lot of sympathy for what she went through, what she's going through with the AI stuff, all of the identity politics stuff. You guys all did this to yourself and you're crabs in a bucket who are going to pull yourselves down because of your immutable characteristics and how you all choose to monetize them. So I don't have a whole lot of sympathy there.
Excited for Beetlejuice though.
Yes, 2 weeks.
Genuinely.
Yeah, we're going to go see Beetlejuice. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I didn't like the original, but maybe I'll like this one.
We appreciate
Everyone's going to get mad at me for saying that.
We appreciate your optimism.
Okay, let's read Super Chats. Shane H. Wilder said, happy Manic Monday, Brett and Mary. So I guess I'm the weird one because I think that biscuits and gravy potato chips sound gross.
Yeah.
You're right. Who's telling you you're wrong? That sounds disgusting.
I would eat them. I mean, I'd try them.
Right before we were laughing because you said, sorry, bitches, I like chips too much.
I do.
You defiantly love chips.
I do. Like, what was it? I did see this thread the other day that was really funny. It says, like, Americans will make fun of British people for eating beans and toast and then eat something like this. And it's a cheeseburger with Lucky Charms in it.
Ew.
And then somebody says, like, it says, imagine being so dumb that you use like this weird novel item that's made at one obscure restaurant in some corner of America and pretending like that's as popular as beans and toast are.
But guys, beans on toast, it's good.
I've never had it.
I'm just going to say it.
I'm only bringing it up because it's what the example everyone always gives. And I love plain food, so I imagine I would love British food.
I'm just going to say it. Beans on toast, it's not bad. It's not a delicacy, but it's not bad. Andrew Jacobs said, Brett, favorite songs from the 1994 Crow soundtrack?
Stone Temple Pilots, Big Empty.
All right. And Shane H. Wilder said, Slip Slide Melting by For Love, Not Lisa.
Okay.
That was his choice.
Let's do one more.
A Magic Monkey said, there is a Radio Shack in a town near me, and I'm convinced it's a front for the cartel.
Oh, I guarantee
I've never seen anyone go in or out of it.
So Mary knows all about the vacuum cleaner store that exists over by us. There's just a store. It's just called Vacuum Store. It's a Mossad front. I just know
something.
It's a Mossad front, and right next to it is the Barber, which is also never open.
They got fixers.
And then the third business over is just empty. So my guess is like the Barber is a CIA station. The vacuum cleaner store is a Mossad office, and then the third one's where they do all their cleaning.
Cooking
meth. There was more than a few, like in where I lived in St. Paul, up the road on Robert Street. There was a VCR repair store still in business. You're telling me that's not some CIA ex-employee who's forging passports? Prove me wrong.
It's either that or like someone's retirement passion project.
I guess. Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
Like I was like, well, it's like also there's like like Maytag stores. I'm like, the internet and Best Buy sell these things. Like,
yeah, it's all very confusing. It makes you think that we live in a simulation. Shane H. Wilder said the original Crow made more with an 11.7 million open.
I would love to know what that is.
In 1994 bucks?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that today? Double at least?
Yeah, at least.
So, yeah, they're not doing great right now.
All right, let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back after the fact. Time to move on. Let's talk about what's going on with Patrick Mahomes' wife. Backhand full of compliments.
She has a name.
She's got a name, Brett.
Yes, Brittany Mahomes, the wife of Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, recently got a lot of backlash for simply liking Donald Trump's Instagram post. He posted a 2024 GOP platform with a list of a bunch of policy positions, and people were sleuthing and they noticed that she was in the likes for the post. She didn't comment anything. This isn't like she came out in full-fledged support with a MAGA hat saying that she was all in for Trump and she loves him. This was literally just liking the post.
I mean, she does look like she was created in the same factory as what's her name?
If you didn't see this coming, I don't know what to tell you. She is the most Republican-looking woman I've ever seen in my life.
What's her name?
She is Fox News incarnate.
Aldine's wife.
She looks like Brittany Aldean. Yes.
Is her name Brittany Aldean?
They're both named Brittany.
I literally just hesitated because I was like, they can't both be
came off of the Brittany factory line. Yes.
She looks like they were created in the same, right-wing
Petri dish. Something like that.
They do.
Same clones. So Brittany Mahomes was receiving some insane backlash for liking Donald Trump's post, and she addressed it on her story on Instagram. Here is what she said. I mean, honestly, to be a hater as an adult, you have to have some deep-rooted issues you refuse to heal from childhood. There is no reason your brain is fully developed and you hate to see others doing well.
Good for her for not backtracking, but like, oh, I liked it by accident. Like, good for her.
You can't really get away with an excuse like that anymore. But back in 2020, you mentioned someone would have definitely issued an apology for supporting Trump in 2020
absolutely.
Because it was such a less sympathetic time for Trump and also a more politically charged and racially charged time.
I don't think it's that it's less politically charged. I think that I don't know if that's the term for it, because
support for Trump is stronger now.
The people that hate him still hate him.
They never
the power of
stopped
seven
hating him.
sons, right? But there is more leeway now to be allowed to do so if you are afraid to be open about it.
Now, on the other hand, her husband, Patrick Mahomes, has been asked countless times to endorse one of the candidates in the 2024 election, and he has decidedly, outspokenly remained neutral.
Good.
Saying that he does not want to get involved in politics. He doesn't plan to endorse anyone.
Who was it? Kai Cenat was like...
Kai Cenat had the same exact reaction.
He's like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it.
He was like, Secret Service is blowing up my phone right now. I don't want anything to do with you people. But, that's something to applaud, is just not having the hubris to think everyone is interested in your political takes anyway, because you're a football player. Yep.
And if they are, they're doing it solely for the clout.
Yes.
They don't actually care about your opinions. They care that you agree with them.
Right. Like, you should almost feel insulted by that.
Yep.
A little bit condescended to. But here were some of the comments. She received plenty of backlash on X. One person wrote, Brittany Mahomes just outed herself as a Trump supporter, which I think is just ridiculous language. If someone endorsed Biden or if someone endorsed Kamala Harris, would they be said to have outed themselves?
No, they would say that they outed themselves as supporting the right side.
Like,
they're on the right side of history.
Why does it need to be a secret? But anyway, another one said, I don't get how people with kids would still vote for a known child R-wordist / felon. Guess people like Brittany Mahomes prefer the tax breaks over child safety. Another one said, Patrick Mahomes, imagine marrying someone who doesn't care about your rights and your kids' rights. For context, Patrick Mahomes is interracial. He is part black, so that's why they're saying that. So imagine marrying someone who doesn't care about your rights and your kids' rights. Brittany Mahomes agreeing with Project 2025, but married to a black man with mixed kids is insane. And now she appears to have since removed her like from the post, but I think after her Instagram story defending herself, she stands on business, it appears.
Yeah.
But yeah, the amount of backlash, and people were also mentioning the fact that Brittany Mahomes is friends with Taylor Swift, or at least Taylor Swift is friends with Brittany Mahomes.
It's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So now Taylor Swift is just 3 degrees away from a Donald Trump supporter, and that just can't be tolerated.
Exactly. And Travis Kelce is friends with some people who support Trump or are openly Republican, and that can't be tolerated. So the Swifties were having a meltdown as well over the same thing.
Somebody says Brett mentioned that was fact-checked to the false child stuff with Trump. I mean, I don't buy anything that they were saying. What was the claim?
Already... it was already our assumption that everyone watching knew that was fake.
Yes.
But I did tweet about it.
You do not take them at their word for any of this stuff. It's the most
They'll
disingenuous arguments ever.
link you the documents, and when you look at the documents, you can see the anonymous accuser of Epstein and Ghislaine
says he
Maxwell
wasn't there.
Openly said multiple times that Trump either when they met didn't make any advances or comments toward her, and she never saw him hanging out with Epstein.
But that's not how they get you. What they get you is they say he was mentioned in Epstein documents, and that's how they get. That's how they get.
So were a lot of people who don't get nearly the same amount of backlash.
Well, I've mentioned this several times before. So for a long time after Epstein died, he was like many documentaries were rushed out but quick, and 2 of them that I saw had pictures of him and Trump as the documentary head photo. That is done because they don't want to use a picture of somebody that, he's taken photos with infinite numbers of celebrities. It's just like how Oprah was at the DNC the other day and nobody's posting pictures of her with Harvey Weinstein.
Interesting, isn't it?
Funny how that works, right?
Funny how that
anybody
works.
can be taken in a photo with something like that. If you're not willing to look deeper, that means you don't actually want the truth. It means you just want to support your side.
So now that RFK has dropped out of the race and endorsed Trump, there is now some backlash coming at Trump and his campaign for using unlicensed music. Firstly, from the Foo Fighters, he used a song, My Hero, during his Friday rally in Arizona. And despite the band claiming otherwise, the campaign claims it was licensed through their service. They claim they have license to use the song, but the Foo Fighters say otherwise because they hate Trump.
So Wu-Tang is for the children says, hey, Foo Fighters, did you let Trump use this song on stage? They go, no.
That's enough said, I guess, even if it's not true.
Foo Fighters were not asked permission, and if they were, they would have not granted it, the band's spokesperson told Billboard on Friday, adding, appropriate actions are being taken against the Trump campaign. The spokesperson went on to say that any royalties received as a result of the song's usage will be donated to the Harris Walls campaign. So if it wasn't used legally, how would there be royalties?
Yeah, that's...
I ask you.
That's a conundrum.
The band did not acknowledge the apparent contradiction of receiving royalties for the song while claiming it was played without permission. The Foo Fighters lied about Trump not having permission to use My Hero while introducing RFK on a podcast.
You know what?
Yeah.
Trump just needs to use All That Remains songs.
There you go.
That's what he should do.
There you go.
Similarly, Beyonce is now threatening to sue Trump.
Yep.
Beyonce is going to sue the Trump campaign over the same issue. A Beyonce insider reportedly told Rolling Stone that she has quickly contacted the Trump campaign and threatened to sue over his use of her song Freedom, which is actually Kamala Harris's theme song, if you will. So now neither Beyonce nor the Trump campaign have made any public statements over the controversy.
They did pull the video, though.
Yeah, they did pull the video.
Yep.
It is Kamala's theme song for all of her promotional material.
Trump should just make remixes of every song she uses. Make trap remixes of all of them.
He's just never going to get these people on his side.
No, and you should stop trying. But I get it. You want to make a montage, and your options are limited when all you've got are Kid Rock and I don't know, Lil Pump.
Well, forgive me for assuming that because Beyonce went country that she liked this country.
I mean, hearing them talk about freedom is you don't realize how uneducated people are on politics until you try to explain to them why them using a song about freedom at all is
the left
hilarious.
is reclaiming language like that of patriotism and freedom.
They made a camo hat.
Right.
They made a hunting hat.
They made a real tree hat, so that means they like the country.
Now, you know what we should do? We should see if we can get them to... I wonder if they would ever be brazen enough to use the Gadsden flag again. I don't think so.
And I'm feeling like counter-signaling Beyonce right now, so let's show this TikTok that I sent you.
Yeah. Let me go full screen here. This is a minute long, so...
It's worth every second.
Okay, here we go.
Trust me.
Trash. Look at this trashy bitch. Look at this trash.
What?
Bitch, my number's higher than this bitch numbers. 2 million. How many people she got? 320. And then she put that white horse up there. She's a demon. You and your demonic ways. So you think it's cute to betray God? I can't wait to see you in hell through a fine-tooth comb.
It gets better.
Yeah, Jay-Z gonna be combing out that gay painter's hair. Y'all sitting on the wrath of Satan's lap.
What am I watching?
So you like hurting kids. So you was on Epstein Island, huh? How was it? Did you pick little boys or little girls? Just one.
Who was that?
Tokyo Tony.
I don't know who that is.
This is some influencer.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't.
Damn, when you make content out of your shit posting.
It's some like. Oh, okay. I know now. She's Black China's mom.
Oh, okay.
Tokyo Tony. Fitting, right?
Black China.
Tokyo Tony.
Makes perfect sense.
They're from different countries,
Makes
but it
perfect
doesn't
sense.
matter. Don't think about it too hard.
All right.
Okay. We have some super chats to read. Shane H. Wilder said, "Give us the red cups or GTFO."
Yeah.
What red cups?
Pizza Hut.
Oh, the frosted glass.
Hut. Yep.
Surinko Productions said, "I thought Ben went off the deep end for a sec." LMAO.
I mean, yeah.
Who?
Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay.
Thought he's like, I really love the accolade. What it is, guys, I think I figured it out. I think deep down, Ben Affleck really liked the Acolyte, and he's trying to lover
He's the
boy his
biggest
way.
fan.
He's trying to lover boy method his way into a second season, and he wants to replace. He wants to be Master Soul.
Yeah.
In season 2,
I'm all for it.
He wants to bring him back to life and be Master Soul in season 2.
You know what?
Did you see that? Guys, apparently. Keanu Reeves turned down doing The Acolyte so that he could do Sonic 3. Apparently,
he said that? He admitted to it.
They're saying that he was apparently offered a role in The Acolyte and chose to be Shadow in Sonic 3 instead.
Iconic.
Yes.
How do you know?
I'll see if I can find it.
Did he
here.
tell?
No, I don't
he
think it
tell
was him
people?
specifically. I think it was.
Was he supposed to play Soul?
Yeah. Or he was
Oh.
offered the role.
Wow.
I could be.
Wow, that's crazy. It would have been an insult to his entire legacy.
Yeah.
Honestly, and they only did it because of
wholesome. Keanu Reeves strikes again. Keanu Reeves signs 1-day deal with professional hockey teams so that he can live out.
Who was the Matrix actress? Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yes.
Didn't they only ask Keanu because they asked Carrie-Anne Moss and they wanted to have 2 Matrix actors?
Oh, maybe
in the show.
Yep.
Do more slow-mo shots of them in the air.
And I hated that movie so much. It was so bad.
The show, you mean? Or Matrix?
No, the last Matrix movie.
Oh, I thought you meant the original. Yeah.
Okay, so it says more details emerge. Keanu Reeves was reportedly up for Soul. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Is he Asian?
Yes, he is.
He's Asian enough.
Yep.
I guess that counts as diversity.
Yep.
Would have been shocked.
Well, no, see, that's the opposite of
Otherwise.
diversity. That's meritocracy, because Keanu Reeves is actually talented and well-liked.
You didn't mind Lee Jung-jae.
No, I liked him. I'm not saying in general. I'm saying I liked Lee Jung-jae in that role anyways, but I'm saying like Keanu Reeves can't be a diversity hire, ever. Because he's actually talented.
Also because he
and
looks white.
And he's well-liked.
And nobody knows that he's Asian.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I knew, but
He's
I get what you're saying.
definitely like what they call white passing. Ale Million said total Jennifer Garner vibes.
Yeah.
I'm saying she looks similar. It's weird. If I were Jennifer Garner, I'd be freaked out. Omega Red fan said Hogan knows the Macho Man is the real man brother. Oh yeah.
Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back after the fact. Okay. And P-Tran is right in the chat. Will Smith was supposed to be Neo in The Matrix. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You mentioned that before.
Yeah. All right.
In another world. All right, so we're going to talk about Justin Bieber. Recently, Justin Bieber announced that he has become a father. Hailey Bieber, his wife, just gave birth to their firstborn son. His name is Jack Blues Bieber, and they posted this cute photo of his foot on Instagram. And a lot of people were congratulating them on this. Some people were surprised that it happened so quickly. I think it's because she was hiding the fact that she was pregnant for a long time, so it seems sudden. But this was in the making.
Well, they're also
for a while
they're
now.
not super public, right? They're not
As
out
a couple.
Yeah. I mean, they're not.
I mean, not as much as
they're
some
not
others.
seen out in public as much as the average.
They
person.
went to the Met Gala together, but it's not often that you see them out. What's interesting is that only days or a week before this post, there was a rumor that Justin Bieber actually was dancing and drinking late into the night, partying in California, while Hailey Bieber was literally counting down the minutes to when she was due to give birth.
It's that
which
meme,
is weird.
It's that meme of the woman in labor and the guy's eating a delivered pizza, and he says she said she couldn't cook tonight, so I had to order a pizza.
Like, it's just not the best thing to be doing with your time when your wife is about to give birth. And it has a lot of people wondering if he is even grown up enough himself to be a dad, to be a responsible dad. And it might sound intrusive to ask that question, but honestly, the media has been intruding into his life for his entire life.
It's that one right there.
Yes, exactly. Hailey Bieber may be using Justin for his money, friends fear. She doesn't pay for anything. You sent me this.
Well, I mean,
there are other rumors that Justin Bieber is the one using Hailey for a green card, and that by the time she was about to, by the time they were about to reach their 5-year wedding anniversary, he would have had a time limit set for his green card, and he would have left her.
Yeah, that would have been.
So your theory is that she baby trapped him.
She's like, not on my watch. You're not getting out of it that quickly.
Is that your theory?
That's not mine. That was Olivia's theory. So, because last year we talked about how like there was conspiracy theories going around that he was going to leave her on the 5-year
Yeah, that's what I just said.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like that wasn't my theory. That was other people on the internet were actually making that conspiracy. So it's logical to at least make the joke.
She got pregnant to stop him from divorcing her for a green card.
I said like at first I was like, no, that's not possible. He's Justin Bieber. He's rich.
That's a lot of investment.
He can't be baby trapped. He's rich enough that he doesn't have to. But if he cares about his image.
But here's the sad thing is he doesn't seem to be a very stable individual. He's 30 years old. He's a dad now. He's married. He's been in the public eye for well over a decade at this point. And he's been through the ringer. and he just doesn't seem to be that stable of an individual, sadly. Just a couple of weeks ago, Justin Bieber was spotted in a store in Beverly Hills, a luxury store, I think, with his pants down. And after people began laughing at his ridiculous appearance...
Hold on.
Thank you.
Tonal issues, as usual. Tonal issues.
After people began laughing at his ridiculous appearance, allegedly minors in the store as well, accompanied by their parents, Justin Bieber started shouting at everyone, saying, "So this is funny to you guys? Get out of here."
This is rich person privilege, right? Because getting caught with your pants down in that situation when there are children around gets you put on a list.
Look, it's not a rich person behavior. Plenty of rich people go out every day with their pants on. And
no, I'm saying it's a privilege
they
to
don't
not
create
end up
a
on a
nuisance
list.
of themselves.
I'm saying it's to not end up on a list.
This is not a symptom of wealth. This is a symptom of fame, and fame that you've had since you were a child. So let's take a look at that video real quick.
Funny? Funny to you guys? No, this is funny to you guys? Get out of here. Get out of here, yo. Get out of here. Funny? Funny to you guys?
He's like asking them if it's funny.
Funny to you guys?
I don't get it.
Get out of here.
He's like, what, sagging his pants?
Yeah.
I mean, sagging your pants did go out of fashion like a long, long time ago, guys, so.
It's just weird to start like yelling at strangers.
Yeah, okay.
So that's him only 2 weeks before his wife just gave birth to their firstborn son.
Okay.
Does that seem like,
yeah,
responsible adult behavior?
No, it doesn't.
I don't even think I'm totally off base for mentioning it. It doesn't seem promising.
No, but
he hasn't learned to like regulate himself and create a positive professional public image in the past few years.
But I mean, how many?
When is he going to?
How many incidences like this has he had since like that? Whatever it was, like 2013 meltdown or 20. When was his?
Well,
big
it's funny.
meltdown? Like,
people call it a meltdown, but I don't think it.
All I
meltdown.
remember was peeing in the mop bucket. That's what I remember.
That spitting on
spitting
fans,
on fans.
yelling at people.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of antics during that time of his life. But
Yeah.
I came across this thread that went through the entire saga of like Justin Bieber's relationship with the media, being in the public eye since he was about 13 years old. And it's not pretty. He got made into such a punching bag.
Yeah.
I think totally undeserved. Especially as a child. I feel like if a 13-year-old today were getting the same amount of backlash, it would not be seen as funny.
Mm-hmm.
It would not be seen as like territory you're supposed to enter.
It would have been harped on more, I think, if she was a girl. I think that it would be probably handled a little bit differently.
I think either way, people are more considerate about things like that than they were back then.
Yeah.
This is the late 2000s, and people were still much more offensive on the internet. But this says, since Justin's early rise to fame, you could count as many dedicated haters as fans. Young boys Justin's age, but also grown men too, were the first to terrorize him. They added here, there was a plot to murder and castrate Justin Bieber.
What?
Yeah. Back in about 2009, I think. There were two men pictured here in their mugshots. They told the police they had a plan to kidnap Justin Bieber and his bodyguard and strangle them, as well as castrate Justin Bieber as a child. That was a real thing that happened. How can the media make anyone hate a person that much, let alone a child?
Yeah.
It's insane to me. People also criticized his appearance, his voice, questioned his sexuality. A lot of people said that he looked like a girl, which even if they thought it was true, doesn't seem like it's an appropriate thing to say over and over and over again, even to his face in media appearances.
Well, he was a kid.
There were flash games that were dedicated to simulating murdering him. And every guest appearance that he made on a TV show or a movie Weirdly, his character was brutally beaten or shot to death. Remember that episode of Criminal Minds?
I do not.
Where he was shot?
No.
I think that was it.
Must have been in a later season, I guess. I remember Taylor Swift on CSI.
No, maybe he was on CSI. Now that I think about it, but that was his character getting shot to death
I don't remember
in the show.
Yeah.
People loved fantasizing about horrible things happening to Justin Bieber since he was a kid and into his 20s. Everyone still loves cooking up conspiracy theories about him getting abused.
Oh, it was
not
Zoolander
out of concern,
2. I heard
excitement.
it was Zoolander 2. I did not see Zoolander 2. There was no way Zoolander 2 was ever going to be as good as the original.
I don't think I ever saw it either. But they're referring to Diddy here, which is interesting because I don't think that's as close of a conspiracy theory as they think.
I think a lot. I think like the case to begin with of the people who were like planning to castrate, like that's just a mentally ill person who's harping on, like you said, it's a product of the media making him a punching bag, and if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. But it's a result of the media putting such a focus on all of the negative attention that surrounded him. Like,
I just still don't
mentally ill
understand
people.
why there was so much negative attention.
I mean, he got very, very big, very, very fast, and pop stars like that. Yeah, I can't understand why.
Michael Jackson never had that.
I can't understand why men cared when it wasn't their genre of music, right? Like,
sure.
It wasn't their genre of music. Like, why they would have an opinion on it to begin with, I don't know. I did make the joke later. I said, like, he filled a role, like, post 2013 for, like, a starved R&B industry. Where he was making legitimate R&B music at a time when just that wasn't as popular in the mainstream. But as to why adult men who don't listen to him anyways, like why would I care what people, what Justin Bieber does if I'm not listening to his music? I don't.
Well, I don't just mean random men. I also mean people in his industry as well.
Oh,
seem to have
okay.
a vendetta against him for no reason.
That's success-based then.
Is it jealousy? What is it?
That's success-based.
They're jealous of his success. That's what it is. I feel like he was also sexualized by adult women a lot.
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, he was a teen heartthrob, right? So we've had this discussion before. It's like he was the last straight male heartthrob that you're going to get. Real male, like, teen star.
Yeah. I still believe that.
Yeah. Like everything else post his era has to feed into some type of non-binary or LGBTQ theme.
There was this video, I think, of Kate McKinnon. I could be wrong. One of these female celebrities who was an adult at the time, like on a stage with him while he is accepting an award and grabbing him and kissing him on the neck forcibly while he's trying to get away. And things like that were done not rarely for him. And the media just seemed to have this intense target on his back for years, hoping that he would break, and then he broke. So it's this cycle happening over and over again.
Considering the level of hate that he got, I don't think he even broke that bad.
Considering, all things considered, like how he handled it could have been a lot worse.
Way worse, right? And he lives a pretty cool. Like,
it could have been Amanda Bynes level.
The reason why I mentioned it is because he lives a pretty normal life. I mean, that incident that you just mentioned at the store is like one of like what? When was the last time he had an incident like that?
Ordinary people don't do that. I'm just gonna say it.
Okay, well then he has one bad moment in 10 years or so. Are there more? Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's more incidents between whatever the stuff that was happening in 2014, which
I don't
is
know,
like 10
him
years
canceling
ago
an entire tour for his mental health.
I mean, yeah, but Shawn Mendes did that, and everyone applauded him for doing so.
They shouldn't be applauded for doing that.
I mean, I said the same thing. I was like, do your job.
They should not be applauded for doing that. I just, I've noticed that he feels very protective over younger stars like Billie Eilish. He was breaking down in tears over it because he said that he didn't want her to go through the same things and he didn't want her to respond to it in the same way. But I think she's also doing the same thing.
All his behavior is that of somebody who's like a pop or rock star, right? Acting out bad behavior. You could say that it's bad, it's wrong, but it's also par for the course. And in comparison to many of the other people in those industries, I don't really think it's that bad, especially given the level of hatred that he received. Mm-hmm. It really was just like, it was like some type of cultural rite of passage to just be a dick about Justin Bieber.
But like,
I don't know where
never
where
understood
it came from. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I bet you half of them probably didn't even hate the music. They were just embarrassed.
They were embarrassed of what?
Pop music that catchy, and then they're like,
they were embarrassed of liking about liking his music.
Yeah, I bet you at least a couple.
That's
of them.
crazy.
Yep.
You should not let the culture dictate what you like.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty, back then, that would have been pretty normal for a dude to attach a lot of that, of your outward identity to not being seen like, it's kind of like when people talk about like guilty pleasure movies or music that they like. It's like, you don't have to do any of that. You can like whatever the hell you want. If somebody doesn't like it, it says more about them than it does about you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's read Super Chats. Soapy Enigma said, you obviously have to have The Rock play Hulk Hogan. Would that work? That
would not work.
Why not?
Though The Rock is playing, he's got that new movie coming out from A24 and he looks like a completely different person, so.
Surenko Productions said, fraudulent restarted check based. Let's go.
He's talking about the Tyrese thing. Look, what, he's stealing your money and my money. I don't really think it's based. I don't.
Yeah, I don't support that. High Voltage said Mary could play Brooke Hogan. I don't know. I would need to get a spray tan too.
I feel like Brooke Hogan is taller. I don't know why I know that or think that.
Well, Hulk Hogan is tall, right?
So Brooke Hogan.
She must be, right?
So what you're gonna have to do is
I would need to get a gnarly spray tan.
You're gonna have to learn how to play the song. What was that? What was her song?
What was that song?
Like About Us or something like that.
I don't remember now.
I remember playing it and I was like, "This is."
It was the most mediocre 2000s pop song ever. Yeah. Glitch said, "Brother Hogan should play Hogan Brother."
Okay.
Well, that would be cheating.
Okay.
That's not a good idea. Shane H. Wilder said, I love pita. Oh, you didn't mean the bread. Never mind. I also love pita bread.
Let's do two more.
Can we just finish the super chats out?
Yeah.
We have a lot here. Potatoes for Seamus said, stupid keyboard.
Okay.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know. Oh, because of his $20 super chat was like all messed up.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
James said, dogs aren't just for protection. They're deterrents. Large dogs encourage criminals to go to the next house instead. Criminals rarely target homes that have dogs, let alone large dogs. That's because they're loud? And if you're intruding the home, then they'll bark? What's the worst that could happen if you have a chihuahua? I don't know. Shane H. Wilder said, I feel personally persecuted with Cringe of the Day. My film degree is not a joke. JK IDGAF.
The question is, can you review a movie with your friends without sounding like a pretentious twat waffle? And if you can, then it's not. Then it shouldn't trigger you.
Twat waffle. I haven't heard you use that term before. Grofty said, like the button if you were watching.
You should like the button and hit the like button at the same time.
What's the button? I don't know what that is.
The game. You're gonna lose the game.
Yeah, I just lost again. Surenko Productions said Brett's FBI agent just perked up hearing about him talk about reading Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. LOL. Brett's FBI agent is me. So when he brought it up this morning, I thought we're finally making some progress.
Look,
this is great.
I can read about anything. It's kind of
you can entertain ideas.
So there was a show that came out in like the early 2000s with Holly Hunter called Saving Grace, and it takes place in Oklahoma City, and they use the Oklahoma City bombing as a big backdrop for characters in the show, which I found fascinating because I couldn't think of another. Like, you see all sorts of shows that have implemented like the idea that characters like were personally affected by 9/11, but I had never seen a show that used Oklahoma City as a backdrop for characters' motivations, which was what inspired me to go back and start reading through it again. And nobody's condoning what was done, but you
Obviously
can read.
not.
Like, you should read about people that are abhorrent and do abhorrent things and learn about them. Otherwise, you're going to be in the dark.
Yeah, but you can definitely see where he was coming from.
There was just a lot of it about technofuturism and stuff like that just rings true with how things are. And he
was a very smart person.
And timeline wise, like he said, like this would be decided in the next 40 to 100 years, and that's probably about right. So
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, I don't care what anybody says about you. You are Knuff.
Well, thank you.
Do you feel Knuff today?
I do.
That's great. Incandescent said, Mary, you are ghost girl enough.
There you are.
I don't even know what that means, but thank you. V-Wit said, what's up, party people? Coming in a little late.
Well, hello.
That's not a problem. Thanks for being here. Boosted Yogi said, yep, I was skeptical about the beans on toast deal until I realized it was beans in tomato sauce. Now my family and I regularly have jacket potatoes with cheese and beans.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Beans and tomato sauce?
Yeah.
Or beans on toast?
Beans and tomato sauce.
I thought you were just supposed to get the normal baked beans.
Yeah, I don't know.
And put it on toast. But I don't know. If we have anyone British in the chat who can weigh in on the proper form of beans on toast, please do. Shane H. Wilder said, thank you, Mary. At least someone has a lick of sense. I posted a pic of those chips and Brett, Olivia, and everyone wanted them. Freaking heathens.
I was informed last week that I used the word heathens wrong. I don't care.
What?
I described the characters in The Crow as hedonistic people, and I at one point I used the term heathens, and somebody said I used that wrong. I said I'm not looking it up.
What does it mean?
But whatever.
Wait, what?
Look it up. Look up what the meaning of it is.
Define heathen. An adherent of a religion that does not worship the God of the Bible.
Okay.
Pagans.
Okay. Well, I feel like that term has been colloquialized pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were in the right.
It's like ruffians.
Surenko Productions said, so is Britney Spears secretly MAGA? Let's go. I think you got a little lost there.
Yeah, it's wrong Brittany.
You got the wrong Brittany and the wrong spelling of Brittany.
It was also funny, too, because I said, like, when I was trying to say Brittany Aldean earlier, I'm like, they can't both be Britneys, can they? Oh, they both are Britneys. Brittany Aldean and Brittany Mahomes.
By far, we both prefer the spelling of Brittany, not Britney Spears.
Yep.
Sorry, Britney Spears. Boosted Yogi said Trump should make every entrance to Limp Bizkit's Rollin'.
He should. I mean, there's precedent there because The Undertaker, professional wrestler The Undertaker, at one point he used the theme song. His entrance song was "Rollin'" by Limp Bizkit, but he also used "American Badass" by Kid Rock, so he could do both.
Shane H. Wilder said Trump, like most politicians, probably just has a blanket license from ASCAP and or BMI. Nothing the Foo Fighters can do about it.
Except for complain.
Well, I mean, who was it that sued him originally? Someone sued him.
I mean, a lot of artists have. The article, I already deleted it up here. A lot of artists in the past have been mad at him for using their music. If I was him, I would want to go find artists who actually do want me to play their music.
I would love to hear Phil go on a rant about this, but like, if you have a record label, you don't own your music.
Yeah.
They own your music. Taylor Swift is re-recording her music for someone else to own it. It's not Taylor's version. It's whatever her current label's version. And that you don't get to decide who gets to play it.
Was it Bruce
Springsteen?
Gets to use
it.
Was it Bruce Springsteen? I feel like it might have been Bruce Springsteen who sued him.
I think there might have been several, but I know Eminem at least threatened to sue Vivek.
Yep.
Because Vivek did his own like cover of Lose Yourself. Remember that?
Yeah.
Simpler times.
All of 3 months ago? 6 months ago?
A month ago. Whenever that happened. Yeah, Eminem is a loser. Notification said, I've been wondering since last Friday, has anyone actually seen Dead Center Mary in profile?
I don't know what you mean by that.
What does that mean?
What does in profile mean in this context? Like turn to the side? Like what does that mean?
I don't know what dead center Mary is.
I mean, you're always sitting dead center.
Yes.
Like, does in profile mean like sitting differently? I don't know.
I don't know. Hiroshima Otaru said to get music rights for an event with the numbers, you just pay a PRO.
Well, I mean, that's what he did. Like he
Well, I
paid for the
assume that
licensing.
they know
yeah.
how to do that. He's been, he's done 3 campaigns by now. I think he knows the ropes. BMF Nate Dogg said, I am for Trump using all the Remain songs. Play This Probably Won't End Well as he walks on stage to debate Kamala.
Let's go.
Well, it might jinx him, though.
Phil might not.
Like, who is it not going to end well for?
I mean, Phil has also said before that like his politics don't really come into the band, right? Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
But if they used his songs, would he have a problem with it?
If only he were here to tell us. Too bad he's on tour.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he would. Corey Anderson said, did Mary just say, how can the media make people hate someone so much? Ask Trump. Bieber was on shot on the original CSI.
So
Yes.
you're telling me that they killed not only Justin Bieber, but Taylor Swift as well on the original CSI? That is hilarious.
I mean, heck, it might have been the same season for all we know.
And then CSI Miami got stuck with like Lucy Hale, they couldn't even get Selena Gomez back then.
Damn. Everyone says they're doppelgangers, but I never saw it.
Oh, it's just funny because when I understand that, and when I saw it, I was like, they totally wanted Selena Gomez. I don't know what year Selena Gomez got famous, but the episode was from like 2010. Was Selena Gomez famous in 2010? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
for sure.
And yes, Bubbles in the chat says CSI Miami was so good. Yes, it's so great because it's literally just about the science stuff, and it's just no politics. It truly is. It's like a rich guy did something bad. Find a way, and it's the most Miami. Like they overdress everyone. They're all wearing white all the time, and just these horrific shirts. It's the greatest. I love the old. And to be fair, guys, I love. David Caruso in that show and his ridiculously over the top role because I'm trying to watch old was it NYPD Blue, and hearing him with the New York accent is so off-putting when he's trying to do a New York accent. I don't know if he's actually from there or if he's just putting it on, but after hearing 10 seasons of him as Horatio Caine, hearing him as a New Yorker is just weird.
Might be his real accent.
It could be. I don't know where he's from.
Yeah. The Last of My Kind said technically Hispanic means Spanish-speaking culture, so she could be Latina without being Hispanic, like Brazilians aren't Latin technically. Seriously? This is all news to me. Like I don't know, but wouldn't that just mean someone who learns how to speak Spanish just suddenly becomes Latino? Like, am I wrong? Do you need to be born there? If I were born in...
We need to talk to Dane about this on Wednesday. We should bring it back up on Wednesday.
We need his official take on this. But like if I were born in Latin America, no one would consider me a Latina, even if I spoke Spanish. Like like none of it makes any sense because everybody has a different definition.
They also wouldn't consider you Chinese if you were born in China and spoke Mandarin.
Which I don't think they should necessarily either. But different standards, I guess. Shane H. Wilder said Mary Fed confirmed.
Could be.
I mean, if it hasn't been confirmed for you already,
we've
where have you
already
been?
got a Fed here that watches our show every day named Tad Bromwell, who's just sitting outside in the van. Frankly, I think that he must have pissed his bosses off because, with IRL and everybody moving to a different location, kind of getting stuck on castle duty just feels like he's not getting the promotions that he wants.
I think he's the one, Tad Bromwell is the one who watches us on his Wii.
That's what it is.
Guy
yes.
That we found out a couple of years ago. Our singular viewer who watches Pop Culture Crisis on his Wii.
I would love to know who that person is. Or maybe he's just really bad at his job. Like I sent you that picture earlier of I saw this meme of a bunch of women who were wearing holsters that were upside down.
Yeah.
They were canted backwards and the barrel was facing up at their shoulder.
Not even at their shoulder. It was like right at their stomach.
And I was just like, if those were fast draw holsters, the gun would just fall out. How are you? It had to be photoshopped, right? Like, but there was like multiple pictures. It was crazy.
There were videos.
Tad Bromwell wears his holster upside down.
You're judging him already.
I
don't even know him. V Wit said Hulk marry with a Fu Manchu. Yep. Also on the big dogs, 2 German shepherds cost less than a security system and work 100% better. I'm sure they cost less. Yeah, I'm not. Did anyone think I was attacking their dogs?
I just get crazy. Did you see that? Adrian Curry posted like a
nice circle.
Did I make a circle?
Just throwing up a circle. Guess we're doing circles now.
Adrienne Curry posted a post on Twitter last weekend about how when she bought a gun for the first time, like her friends had an intervention with her about her purchasing a gun. Back when she lived in California, I think.
How did she even manage to do that in California? It must be a lengthy process.
Said she bought like a shotgun for home protection, and like she got like a gunnervention by
that's crazy, because I'm sure that a lot of celebrities, even if they don't talk about it, do own guns. And even if they don't, they definitely employ people who own and carry guns for them, so they don't have to, and they can virtue signal about gun control on social media guilt-free.
Evil people who want to be protected while disarming you.
But I bet Post Malone is one. He's super into guns.
Yes.
And posts about it. And I don't think he's actually gotten any negative feedback.
She was saying this was back in like 2014 or something like this. Maybe I'm misremembering the post, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor lady. Gordon Shumway said the only correct person to play Hulk Hogan is RDJ, playing Kurt Lazarus, playing Lincoln Osiris, playing Hulk Hogan.
The dude playing the dude disguised as another dude?
Hoganception.
There you go.
Just remember, you never go full Hogan. P.S. Brits eat fried pig's blood for breakfast.
Ew.
Honestly, when you put it like that and you don't call it black pudding, it sounds more appealing. Just calling something pudding when it's definitely not
shepherd's
pudding
pie
pisses me off. I mean, shepherd's pie, you could maybe convince yourself that that's a pie, but why do they call everything pudding?
Don't know. Why do they call fries chips?
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. But then they call pudding something else. I think they call pudding cake or something. It's some weird mix-up happened. I don't know what's wrong with these people.
And it's not a garbage bag. It's a bin. It's not
black
a trash.
Pudding,
it's
though,
a bin.
I've tried black pudding. It's really not bad, but just thinking about what it is makes you grossed out by it. So if you go in with no expectations, you'll probably like it. Carnell said, let's be honest, the only way we'll ever get Brett to try beans on toast is they make it as a chip flavor.
Probably. I mean,
that would help.
That's not actually true. If there was if I was somewhere and that was being offered, that's something that I would try. It's not like it's something that I would be, where like you put a bunch of stuff in front of me. I'm like, ew, I don't want that. I would try that.
Usually, I would assume that you would not.
Most things, right? But
you're suspicious of everything.
I don't mind beans. I don't mind toast. Why would I care if they were put together?
I mean, you could say that about a lot of things.
Toast is like a base level with no flavor to it if you haven't put anything on top of it. So I don't get it.
Yeah. What about avocado toast?
I don't even know what that would taste like.
You should try it. Shane H. Wilder said Neil Young sued Trump, dismissed with prejudice.
Okay.
Did we talk about that? I feel like I remember us talking about that.
I feel like we would have. No, that feels like one in the story, like where we would talk about maybe covering it and then just not
and then
do
trash it at the last minute.
Like we would sit there for 3 days and be like, "Do we really want to do this?" And then be like, never mind.
That does happen quite a lot. Yep. There's some inside baseball. Shane H. Wilder said, Tad, we need to upgrade your streaming system of choice. Can we interest you in a Wii U or backwards compatible PS3?
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, I think he's happy with his Wii. I hope that person is still out there, by the way. If you're watching this on a Wii,
we respect you.
Shout out.
Yes.
We have extreme respect for you.
Leave a comment on this episode. Go on YouTube.
Please tell us.
Go on YouTube and leave a comment on us. Now a bunch of people are going to do that, and
Darn
it won't be them.
Now we'll never know.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brits calling cookies biscuits is just wrong. Wait, what did they call a biscuit, though? Something that actually is a biscuit. A muffin? I think they call it a muffin. It just never ends.
1776, thank you, God.
High Voltage 75 said, I think pudding is a general term for dessert. Yes, okay, you were right.
They're saying they call it a scone. Whatever it was.
A biscuit, like something that you get at like KFC, they would call that a scone.
Sounds awful.
Like, bro, that's not a scone. But they say pudding as a general term for all dessert. But if it is actually pudding, like what we mean when we say pudding, they call it jelly.
None of it makes any sense.
Mental illness, love. High Voltage 75 said in the UK. Yes, I caught that. Are we all caught up on the super chats?
One more from Glitch says, these British recipes are ancient, and back in the day, anything boiled or steamed in a basin, cloth or handy piece of intestinal tract is a pudding. Gross.
Intestinal tract? Are you talking about tripe?
There's one more there from Shane H. Wilder.
My dad made me try SOS, shit on a shingle. It is chipped beef and country gravy on toast. Doesn't look appetizing, but it's actually good. Well, maybe when you call it shit on a shingle, people are gonna judge
Shocking.
you.
Name matters, right?
They're gonna judge it, before they know. High Voltage 75 said, thanks for a great show, Mr. Dasovic and Agent Morgan, or is it Special Agent Morgan?
It's really funny because me and Olivia have been watching Bones, and there's like jokes made all the time about how the character of Brennan is like this rich author, and they act like Booth is poor, like being in the FBI. I'm like, how much does like a supervisory special agent in the FBI make, right? Because he's like, he's not just an agent. He's got his own office. He's in charge of stuff, right? It's like $40,000 a year.
Inflation is killing people.
But
you have a 20 from VWit. Only thing I'm upset with is Mary doesn't know what a Fu Manchu is. Do you?
No. I mean...
Well, neither of us know then, I guess. Chips are crisps in the UK. Never trust a Brit. And the haters in the chat, my pups also give companionship, something a security system can't. We still legit.
They're mad.
Is there an argument about dogs or something?
They're mad that we don't know what Fu Manchu is. It's a term I've heard before, but yeah.
I have no idea.
They're saying it's a style of facial hair. Okay. Is that my facial hair? Because that's not what
I hope not. Yurishima Otaru said, do you have a license for that pudding? No, I never will. Sydney Vox said, I know someone.
As soon as they said it was a facial style, I knew exactly.
Oh, you
what
did?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
What is it then?
Here. Because Hulk Hogan.
I need to learn something today.
Yeah.
I thought he just had
it's
goatee. Oh,
that's as soon as they said it, I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That will all make sense now. Yeah. Why does Hulk Hogan have it like that?
They said Asian movie bad guy facial hair. Well, I wasn't going to describe it as such, but
they should have forced Lee Jun Jae to have a Fu Manchu.
See, but here's the thing: we live in a time now where they would talk about how they wouldn't do it because of stereotypes.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's lame.
And Donnie Yen refusing to wear like Chinese clothes. Yeah. Sydney Vox said, I know someone that calls pizza sauce gravy. Ugh. That also makes no sense. What is wrong with people? The Manic Mustache.
Somebody in the chat says, I'm sorry, Blue Waffle says 140K a year is literally poverty. Is that true? Does that put you below the poverty line?
Pretty sure that's officially not poverty.
You make the argument that like he's making $140,000 a year in DC. Maybe that's just not a lot depending on where you're living in DC.
Yeah.
But still, like, come on.
It's modest if you live in New York City.
They're like dunking on him for being poor. I'm like, he's in charge of a unit of the FBI. Give the guy a break.
That's kind of crazy. The Manic Mustache said, late as usual, but apropos to photography, fought off a PETA because they're taking pics of the family butcher shop. Sheriff refused to press charges on a 12-year-old with a mustache. Stay toxic, friends. Do you understand what he said?
I have no idea what was said there.
PETA was taking pictures of a family butcher shop. And
I don't know. I have no clue what the 12-year-old with a mustache thing is.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, bro. V-Wit said, crisis party, come on, boys. Here it is. Thank you. And we're dancing. Shane H. Wilder said, my dad was in the military and that's what they called it. They enjoyed it because at least it was a hot meal.
Okay. Well, you know, perspective is everything.
Just, you know, don't call it shit on a shingle. That would help. Carnell said, you can only choose one. Would you rather rewatch the Crow remake in 4DX or rewatch the Magical Society of of Magical Negroes in IMAX with motion blur?
The Crow.
What would the 4DX in the Crow be? Just rain?
like squishing sounds every time the blood comes out of the... probably the Crow, because at least there was some cool gore.
I would probably choose Magical Negroes.
Really?
Because I like motion blur.
You've got that going for you.
I'm one of those weird people that really prefers motion blur or motion smoothing, whatever you call it.
We need to have Tom Cruise on just so you can tell him that.
I will fight him. I will defend my position.
Like, I love how that clip of them like doing their PSA about motion smoothing became like a thing where every 6 months it's reposted and it's become its own little piece of cultural significance.
Yeah, it was a moment because for some reason people just hate it. I never understood that. It's a comfort thing for me. It's nostalgic. Shane H. Wilder said, what is this? A-Team Frostback? Love the show, but miss Phil and Left Lane for Crime.
Yes, we miss Phil as well.
Even though Phil is gone, the Left Lane is still for crime. Yep. Don't worry. V-Witch said Italians call sauce cooked with meat in it gravy.
Well, I don't do that.
But gravy is... I thought gravy was an American word.
All right. Guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Mary, there's one more there.
Weary Traveler said, I need to know why Mary didn't like the original Beetlejuice.
Can you give a reason?
That's tough. I mean, maybe it's just that I didn't grow up with it, so I didn't understand the hype that was around it, but...
Have you seen Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
That I did watch during my childhood, so I do like it.
Okay, there you go.
But maybe if I didn't, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice just didn't hit for me. Like, it was too, I don't know. It felt like it was too weird.
It's not your thing?
And it wasn't too weird. It was too like, isn't this movie weird? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
It was like, oh, this scene is so weird.
Look, I'm also of the opinion, and I can't say that anybody else will necessarily believe me, is that, or think that this is true, but I think a lot of what people, like the sensitivities that people have to like quote unquote wokeness in movies, like when people are calling the lead girl from Twisters like a girl boss and stuff like that, I think part of it, the reason there's this oversensitivity to it is like when you look back at old stuff, there's progressivism in it. Perhaps it's more nuanced and less visible than it is today in a lot of things. But I think a lot of it is like, when were you actually politically awakened to the idea of this concept, and stuff you watched before you were aware of that, before you had that awakening, will seem less over the top, even if it's there. Right? There's a show called Lie to Me, which has all sorts of progressivism in it with a lot of the characters. But the character of Cal Lightman is endearing and fun to watch. And when I watch it now, I catch more of it. Right? But I wasn't necessarily super political when it came out. Therefore, I didn't notice it as much. But now when I do, I see it. And part of it's just like how much of it you give more leeway to it when you weren't politically aware when you saw it initially.
You can still allow yourself to enjoy those things and not let the current moment destroy it for you.
Yep.
We have one more from BMF Nate Dogg. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. What?
I don't know what's in relation to.
Okay.
Somebody says Lie to Me was a terrible series. Glad it got canceled. It definitely got convoluted and wasn't the greatest, but I thought it an interesting concept back then. So I like Tim Roth as an actor. All right.
Is that a movie? I don't know. Sorry, I don't know.
Where can they find you?
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Oh, they're recommending you see it.
Doesn't sound appealing. Gotta be honest.
There's got to be something that I don't know what it is that I've asked you to like when I said you should watch The Crow. I wonder now if you would even. I would love to hear your thoughts on
if
the
I would
original.
even like it.
I don't know. I don't think you would. I don't know if you would, but I would like your thoughts on it if you had a chance to watch
I'm
it.
planning to watch Crossroads this week.
That's perfect.
Foreshadowing.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Did you do your outro?
I did.
Okay, guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. And this show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Music, Amazon, and Spotify if you'd like to listen rather than watch this show. If you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook, and not TikTok because we were banned on TikTok, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram, And on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. It had a rough outro today, guys. It was a little bit stop and start. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see y'all then.
Bye.
Bye.